Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort in commentary, Ashton, and this is our Lucha Underground review. And ladies and gentlemen, oh my god, second straight week, another amazing episode of Lucha Underground. And you've got a happy John right here, because we got the return of Johnny Mundo, baby! So I am feeling fucking fantastic, and I am so ready to talk about this show. Ashton, what'd you think of it, brother?
You know, when you said ladies and gentlemen, I almost thought you were going to do the old intro.
Yeah, you know, you thought, didn't you?
Did you remember? Do you remember what the old intro was?
Not a clue. I've gotten so used to this new one that we do.
It was, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wrestling fans from all eras.
That's right. Man, oh man, that's really something.
Yeah, alright, well yeah, Lucha Underground today was phenomenal. I can't wait to watch it again, because, like, it's one of those things where when we're live reacting, we get to kind of turn our brains off a little bit and just kind of spout whatever comes to mind, but I want to watch this with an analytical eye. It's going to be fun. It was a great episode. We got introduced to quite a few new characters, and we got 3 solid matches. It was just a really, really well done show. You know, there's only so much you can say at this point to praise Lucha Underground, right?
I just, you know, it's weird, because some people might be thinking, wow, have you deified Lucha Underground? And speaking for myself only, I think I have. I think I'm willing to worship at the altar of Lucha Underground. And, you know, I think for good reason. Because it's the best product going today. And yeah, I love the debuts that we got, bro. I love the teases that we got for new characters. There's one in particular I'm quite excited to talk about. Of course, the returns. Finally got me some Johnny Mundo. And the way that the episode ended, I thought was great, especially if you guys had read the Lucha Underground comics. So just a little tease there. And with that said, Ashton, do you want to get right into this episode?
Oh, yeah, I am, but before we do, I do want to say I can't wait for issue 2 of the comic to come out.
I know, it's going to be so good. That comic is amazing, guys. Again, go and read it. There's a link to it in our comic book discussion video, so you can find it there. You won't be disappointed. It's a very quick read and very enjoyable. With that said, let us get into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And yes, for those of you wondering from last week, I am still sipping hot cocoa in my property in the Arctic. I have no heat of the night tonight. I am feeling rather cozy, actually. Rather cozy. So, I am good. What about you, Ashton? You got any heats of the night?
Did you hear that, people? Did you hear what John just said? Because not only is Lucha Underground better at continuity than WWE, but Lucha Underground TWitWoW is better at continuity than WWE.
Check it! So, I'm guessing your only heat of the night was that this episode went by too fast and you wanted more?
No, I've depressingly accepted that it's just not going to happen.
You sound legitimately depressed. Holy fuck. Oh,
well,
man.
It's funny because I have a smile on my face now, but that's just because I've got it, you know how they're like temporary tattoos that kind of stick around for a while, but you can wash them off. Yeah, that's kind of what my smile is after every episode of Lucha Underground.
I feel like you were close to like something that would be seen on like the nihilist meme Facebook page or something. Like, I smile, but only to bury the sadness on the inside.
No, I smile for a few, I could say hours, but that would be lying. For a few days after every episode of Lucha Underground, no matter how depressed I get.
Yeah.
Because Lucha just puts me in an amazing mood.
Lucha is love, Lucha is life, brother. So,
it's never going to be ogre, John.
Yeah, there you go. Unfortunately. But,
what? No, that's a good thing.
Yeah, you're right. My mistake there. But with that said, let us get right into it because I can't hold it back any longer. Our Lucha Underground review. And brother, how do we open this baby up?
With Prince Puma, as The Rock would say, clanging and banging and clanging and banging, lifting weights, getting ripped, bulking clearly because he's so much bigger than he was last season. And up comes Pentagon Jr. from behind, tells him that they're facing the Disciples of Death tonight, and then tells him, when we're done with them, I'm going to break your arm. You're going to help me to beat them and break their arms, but then I'm coming for you. And this is the point when we basically get a frickin' Jackie Chan style fight scene between Prince Puma and Pentagon Jr.
Which the shooting of was gorgeous first and foremost. But allow me to just backpedal and say I find it wonderfully hilarious that you introduced Puma using a Rock quote because he was pretty much confronted by the Stone Cold of the Temple.
That's right, brother. You think I did that unintentionally? Come on now. You know me better.
Hell no. That magnificent brain of yours. But I was even going to say to you, I never was able to get it out.
No, I didn't think about that.
Oh. Well, I did. So that's why we work.
That's right.
But I wanted to say this in live reactions, but I wasn't able to get a chance to because, you know, when Lucha's happening at 100 miles per second and you're just losing your goddamn mind, there's really not much time for thoughtful commentary.
Yeah.
It is so, and I mean this in a good way because I love Puma, and I'm not trying to say, like, he's lost momentum or anything because he's clearly beloved. But I really believe, it's funny because I think they really tried to create Puma in that top spot, but I think organically Pentagon just took it from him. I think Pentagon has taken Puma's spot because, dude, people rave over this guy. And I'm not saying they don't love Puma, but I feel like it was almost made that you love Puma. You know, they really did build him as the guy. And Pentagon just came up from behind and took that torch, though. And that's why I love this interaction here, because if you have been following Lucha Underground in the first season, and you're like us, and you like to look at the business and this and that, it really is two guys competing, in my mind, for that top spot in the temple. And I'm not just talking about being world champion, though that's certainly true, too. You're talking about the two most over personalities in the temple on a collision course, and I freaking love it.
Yeah. This fight scene was phenomenal. You had, Puma tries to throw a kick. I'm thinking Pentagon is going to throw an elbow on Puma's leg and break his kneecap or something, but Puma uses Pentagon's momentum to do a full backflip, and in the middle of the backflip, he did an uppercut kick to Pentagon. Puma's a freak athlete. He's so good. And then, yeah, this was really cool. Just really well shot, everything. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like I could say this was really well shot about everything in Lucha Underground. So I just stopped saying it, but this was amazing.
Again, this was so well choreographed and shot. And see, again, this is why I love Lucha Underground. I say it every episode. It embraces what it is, and it taps into the potential of what it is. You would never see anything this gorgeous or this exciting on any other product. That's not just WWE, but really all of North America. And dare I say, in the Mexican promotions. This is just so different and so new. And I love that it uses techniques from film and then infuses it with its product, because this was just great seeing Puma and Pentagon go back and forth like this, because it left you wanting more. I want these two, and you know what, dude? I really do believe if you and I got anything right in our Luchador Spotlight series, I do believe these guys are on a collision course for Ultima Lucha.
Yeah?
I feel it.
Oh, dude, please.
Dude, if we got anything right, and I'm saying both of us, because I know at least with your record, when it's combined with my record, the average goes up a little bit, because I know I've been pretty awful, but I do think we got that right, dude, because they have not wasted any time putting these two together, man. It is ridiculous.
You know what, though? The fact that they did it so early almost makes me think it won't happen at Ultima Lucha. Because, this season, like you said, it's moving at 100 miles a second. I don't know if they're going to be able to stretch it out over the whole season.
Maybe not. And that'll be on Lucha Underground. But here's the thing. If they can't, it's not like I'm going to complain. I just want the damn match.
Yeah.
You know, like, they have made me in 2 episodes. And it's funny because in the premiere, he only stared down Puma because Puma was just kind of looking at Pentagon, you know, being a boss and breaking the champion's freaking arm. But in 2 episodes, they've already got me salivating for this match. And not only that, again, this is an episode that gave me the return of Johnny Mundo. So I'm over the moon right now. I'm over the moon. I got to see it. It's a beautiful thing. And Lucha Underground just keeps kicking ass, man. It's great.
Absolutely. So, yeah, once we get done with this awesome fight scene, we get into the temple, and our first match, our first entrance to our first match, John, is Johnny Mundo, baby.
And you could still grate cheese on those goddamn abs. Mother of God.
It seems like he's been bulking a little bit, too.
Damn right he has. With out-of-your-mind fitness. Yeah, that's right. I know his fitness program. I'm such a stalker. Why doesn't he love me? But regardless, it doesn't matter.
It's kind of hard to not know his fitness program when he plugs it in every single interview.
Yeah, well, do you have a hole in the wall in his house? No, I didn't think so. So, yeah. Anyway, regardless of my issues... Beg pardon?
Do you?
I really shouldn't legally disclose that. So we've got a podcast, so I'd like to ask us all to be professional here. Yeah, so, I love this. It's just great to see him. His opponent was Killshot, which I found even more intriguing because we know at some point Killshot is going to get more backstory because he promoted on his Instagram and everything, all that stuff. But these guys went out and they had a killer matchup, a fun opener. Now, of course, obviously I'm going to be biased because they withheld Mundo from me last week, so I was just ready for him this week. So I think the match obviously will be elevated on that alone. But Killshot as a Technico, I think is very entertaining. What did you think, Ashton?
Yeah. This match was fun. Dude, let me just say, too, for the finish of the match, I don't think I've ever seen a more creative low blow than the one Johnny Mundo pulled off on Killshot tonight. Because he did, like, it was almost like a leapfrog where, like, he kind of bent over and let Killshot jump over him, and then he raised his leg up and caught Killshot from behind. Like, it was brilliant.
Yes, and I have to say, Johnny Mundo, our guru of greatness, our ambassador of abdominals, our prince of parkour, finally figured out what Rick Knox is good for. Just a human shield, you know, to put other things in motion. Thanks to Rick Knox being such a horrible human being and a failure as a father.
Oh my
which I
God!
know for a fact. Don't stop me right now, please. I am delivering a message to the people. Johnny Mundo was able to deliver a low blow with the utmost finesse and get a victory that was assured to him anyway. So if you're thinking, well, John, are you contradicting yourself? If the victory was assured to him anyway, why did he need to use this low blow? To which I respond, blow me. So now that that's all been established and that Rick Knox sucks, I would just like to say that I'm so proud of Johnny Mundo getting this victory and once again reestablishing and re-cementing his place as the man of Lucha Underground.
Okay.
Is that it?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. I thought you would kind of take the ball, but I don't know if you know where to go for. It's like, what just happened? So, yeah, I that was just me paying my alms to the great and wonderful Johnny Mundo. But yeah, in all sincerity, I enjoyed this match. I liked, and I'll tell you this too, in all seriousness, I think it really gives Killshot momentum right away as a Technico, knowing that a guy like Johnny Mundo had to cheat to beat him. Because here's the thing. It's one thing for Johnny Mundo to have to cheat to beat a guy like Alberto El Patron like he did at Ultima Lucha, but I think people may have perceived, you know, Killshot as lower on the card or lower on the totem pole or what have you. So the idea that Mundo had to pull out that bag of tricks, it's like, well, Killshot probably could have beaten him, so how good is Killshot really? He's got to really be something. So I like that.
That is true. That's a great point.
Yeah, I really like that, man.
And then in the post-match, Johnny Mundo is basically trying to confront Mil Muertes, who is still, and I love this too. Mil is like, you know, he's got the sling, but he's still chilling out on his throne of skulls and crossbones and death. The throne of death, John. People call him Shao Kahn. I say Mil would choke Shao Kahn out with one finger.
Yeah, I was insulted. I'm like, fuck Shao Kahn. Are you not see what this is?
Yeah.
Like, Shao Kahn was a guy that used other people to do his bidding and to have a tournament for his amusement. Mil Muertes is just like, I'll enjoy the show, but when I need to, I'll take care of my own business.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone is Shao Kahn in this picture right now, it's Katrina.
Exactly. Don't be bringing that up in Mil Muertes' grill. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah, exactly. So, Mil Muertes is like frickin', I don't know, Scorpion.
Yeah, there you go. That's more like it.
Doesn't Scorpion, like, you know, drain people's souls out of their bodies?
I think you're thinking of Shang Tsung, actually.
Oh, well, I guess my lack of Mortal Kombat knowledge has been exposed.
But that's why I'm here. This is why we're the perfect team, man.
Let's talk about the post-match, though, because Mundo does confront Muertes, and then, you know, you would think that would be the end of the segment. You know, he's like, yeah, Muertes, as soon as your arm's healed up, I'm coming after you in that title. But no, because this is Lucha Underground, and there's never only one guy going after the title. There has to be a dozen. So now we also get Brian Cage coming out and not only talking to Mil, but telling Johnny that he could take him any day of the week.
Which is blasphemous. I've got to be honest. I really felt a catch in my throat because I almost choked on the absurdity of that statement. But regardless, it's really wonderful because in the first episode, you've got Pentagon, Puma, and really Team Havoc. Because even though Evil's won that triple threat, who else?
Even though he doesn't have the title to go after him yet, Phoenix wants Mil.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because to be honest, I actually forgot about Phoenix, seeing as how he lost Gift of the Gods, but you're right. And we just continue to pile it on. You know what, dude? I just realized, because this is a shorter season, let me ask you, do you think that they're piling on these contenders, and the culmination of that, at least for the moment, is going to be Aztec Warfare? Because that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm so glad you connected those dots, because and that's the thing. Last year's Aztec Warfare was for the title. Who's to say this year's won't be as well?
Yeah. I fully anticipate it to be, because to me, I feel like if they solely made it for number one contendership, that's almost a wasted opportunity, and Lucha Underground isn't, known
they don't
to really
waste
have
opportunities.
Those.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you've got all these people gunning for Mil Muertes, then the final product is going to be, guess what? All these people gunning for Mil Muertes.
Yep.
He's going to have to withstand the onslaught. And dude, we've talked about a Cage Muertes matchup. We've had interesting conversations about Mundo Muertes, seeing as how they're both Rudo, but then again, so are Cage and Muertes. It's just, I think they could get away with it because you're talking about two powerhouses.
Yeah, I think that's just like a dream match. Like, that's the thing. Like, Lucha Underground isn't afraid to do face versus face or heel versus heel, as long as it's a match that the crowd will be able to get into. Because in Lucha Underground, I mean, sure, like, we can say Johnny Mundo's Johnny Rudo and that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, there aren't really super rigid defining characteristics of what makes a Technico and what makes a Rudo. It's just let the crowd cheer for who they want to cheer, because the more violent you get, whether you're a good guy or a bad guy doing it, the more the crowd's going to get into it.
Exactly. And
that's why they took to Pentagon so much, because in the first season, he was, at first, he was almost like uncool, because at first he was just like trying to, be all like buddy with Chavo and like, yeah, I've got Chavo's back and he's got mine and we're going to be best friends. And then Chavo hit him with that chair in Aztec Warfare and it snapped him. And ever since then, after that, he's been on this warpath, taking arms and breaking arms and taking names.
Yeah, and I mean, just a complete 180. But
and now he's the frickin' Stone Cold Steve Austin of Lucha Underground, so there you go.
Exactly, and I couldn't let this segment pass by, though, because I know you and I popped in live reactions when Johnny Mundo had the line to Mil Muertes. If you thought that earthquake that you went through as a child was bad, it's not going to be anything compared to what the end of the world's going to feel like.
Yes!
Love that. Can I just say, because look, I've waited 2 weeks for this. I just have one more thing positive to say about Johnny Mundo at my freaking altar here. 10 years must be the magic number, because that's how long he's been doing this, and I think everything's finally come together for him, and he's the best he's ever been. Because he used to say, even after he left WWE, like, promos are my weakest point. They're my Achilles heel. I thought that was a great line. Yeah. I love that he used somebody's backstory as fodder to make a threat. He knows Mil suffered through it.
What the amazing thing is, John?
What's that?
Whether you're right and Johnny Mundo really is better than he's ever been or not, or the alternative would be he's just gotten to be a better actor and they're giving him really good lines, it doesn't matter because the end result is the same.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. And you know what? You make a great point, too, about him being a better actor. He went out. He took the public speaking courses. He took the film roles. He wanted to get better. And this is the end result.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm a fan of this guy, because he put in the work where he was deficient, and I think he has gotten better. Yep. People may still want to bring up, like, oh, that awkward, Jeff Hardy promo on SmackDown that one time that apparently made them think, like, oh, he's just a terrible mic worker. But now, whenever they bring that up again, I'm just going to show them this. I'm going to be like, eat it. Because that's what happens when somebody works at their craft.
You know what, though? I don't think anybody really ever, well, I shouldn't say that. I think that if you would argue, if somebody would be like, oh, Johnny Mundo can't talk, if you would argue that he is just not a great babyface talker and that he can cut promos as a heel, you would get a lot less of an argument.
Which, for as long as you've known me, even before we did, that's always been the stance that I've taken.
Yeah.
Always.
Right. So,
Johnny Rudo for freaking life, and Mil Muertes better clutch that title close to his chest, because it's coming home to the Palace of Wisdom this season, baby.
Oh, yeah. I hope so. That would be amazing. I want him to win a title.
So that you can hear my mark out and
yes!
just explode this whole place.
Yes.
Nuclear mark out. But anyway, I have talked Johnny Mundo to death, which is a sentence I never thought would come out of my mouth.
It's not even over, though, yet, John, because up next we had Cage gets in the ring to confront Mundo, and it's like, oh my god, are we going to get another match now? And then Mundo ducks out of the ring. Cage goes over to pose to try and intimidate Mil, and Mundo attacks him from behind.
That's right. Because tactics. That's right.
And then, he kind of gets clobbered and runs out of the ring again.
You say that, but okay, well that's
tactical retreat.
Yeah, even I can't put much of a spin on it, but at least he was able to retreat tactically, I might add, and able to just recoup. But yeah, dude, again, in all seriousness, I love that these elements are coming together. I love that Millmore, and see, that's the great thing too, dude, because you'd think. And maybe this is just an assumption I was working on and I'm on an island here. But you'd think with Katrina being proprietor and them having all the gold that, they'd really be able to quell the opposition, but you can really see the pressures mounting. Yep. You can really see that despite having all this power, that really doesn't matter. These guys don't care. They're nipping at Mil's heels. And whatever this culminates into, because now my bet is Aztec Warfare. I think that is what this is all building to.
That's I can't wait, too. And that's timed really well, too. Because last season, I feel like it was about 2 months between guys getting their arms broken and then showing back up on TV. And now Mil got his arm broken in week 1. And last season, Lucha or Aztec Warfare was week 9. So that's almost exactly 2 months.
Exactly. Dude, this is going to be amazing. And you know what? I'm glad they made Cage come out, because here's the thing, too, just to talk about Cage.
I hope Cage has a match next week now.
He should. He should. And what I love about him getting in the mix, it really does make wins and losses seem like they matter, because Johnny Mundo wasn't the only one to win his match at Ultima Lucha. Cage won that match against the Mack.
That's
and
right.
you could see where those two are, because while the Mack wasn't a match, it was against a debuting person, whereas Cage is gunning straight for the world champion.
So they're trying to establish a hierarchy, yeah.
I love it, dude. It's so smart.
Yeah,
it's so smart.
So then, after this whole Johnny Mundo Cage Muertes confrontation, we went to a commercial. But when we came back, we were in a house, and we saw Sexy Star, who is basically chained to a chair, and then we see Marty the Moth Martinez, and this dude, last season he was kind of goofy, crazy. This season, his marbles are just completely misplaced.
People will probably take this however they're going to take it, because this is coming from me. I was even put off by this. Me! The guy that laughs at people getting their faces eaten off, and I'm thinking, oh, Sexy Star's in a really bad way. I actually feel bad for her. Because if Marty the Moth, if I woke up to that face, my blood would run cold. My toes would curl, And, my organs, all my organs would probably drop in the pit of my stomach. And
see, people, and the just to kind of heighten the impact of this, the fact that John was disturbed by Marty the Moth here, this is the guy that laughed when Mufasa died.
Yeah, I think that is the best scene in Disney history. And Marty the Moth made me uncomfortable and actually realized that I still have a shred of humanity. Do you know how terrifying that is? For me to realize that. Sexy Star is fucked.
Yeah, yeah, she is. And the worst part is we still haven't seen his sister, so we don't know what kind of monstrosity Sexy Star is going to have to get through aside from Marty himself. Sweet
mother of God.
He did say that it was almost time for her to spread her wings, though. Of course, referring to Sexy Star. So, what are they gonna try and cut her skin open and make it into flaps so that she has pretend wings or something?
You know what's funny is that any other person would be repulsed by that, and yet I'm thinking, well, it's possible.
Yeah.
Because I was even going to ask
Marty the Moth, he's kind of a psychopath now.
I was even going to ask you, and I think you pretty much answered my question. Because I was even about to ask you if you felt like they were gonna try and make Sexy Star into a moth, with that whole language. I just thought,
yeah, the frickin' that's Human Centipede-ish.
Oh my God, yeah, Human Centipede. I also get the feeling because you said cutting open the skin like Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, Marty the Moth.
Maybe they'll try and cement glue the wings that she uses during her entrance to her back.
Oh, dear God. Oh, God. And you know what the thing is, too? Is that, again, because Lucha, and see, all this stuff we're talking about, any other promotion, we would be like, why are you guys even reviewing this? You suck at it. But with Lucha Underground, that's totally possible. Because with the, with the cinematic capabilities and everything, and the kind of universe we're in, I could totally see them, using, shadow imagery and making it seem like they're cutting into Sexy Star, and, oh God, her screams, just thinking about her screams again, what is this thing I'm feeling? Is it empathy for someone else? Good God, what is this? But, it's horrifying. It's blood-curdling is what it is. Oh my, and then Marty the Moth, that was probably one of my favorite lines from you in live reactions, with his slicked back hair looking like a Leave It to Beaver character. Good God. That was even more off-putting than just his normal crazy look. And, yeah, man, I'm hoping Pimpy and Masquerita are on the hunt for Sexy Star, because she needs some help, and she needs it fast.
Yeah.
Oh, Sexy Star, we hardly knew ye. Alright, so what happened after this?
Well, after this was another vignette, except this one was for a new debuting luchador, PJ Black, the Darewolf.
Okay, I got a little ahead of myself. I thought you were referring to the other one because I'm excited about that one. But PJ Black, though, this was great. I love it because from what I remember, he was riding a motorcycle and two other people, right, Ashton, were behind him, but it wasn't camaraderie. It wasn't like a posse, it was more antagonistic, it seemed, in its nature, right?
Yeah, at first it almost seemed like they were riding with him, but then it kind of seemed like it was like a bike gang, and they were getting ready to, gang up on him and rob him or something.
Right. And you know what, though? If they did have that intention, joke's on them, because PJ Black handled them readily.
Yeah.
He disposed of them like they were nothing.
He sure did.
I love it, too. I even joked with you on live reactions. He, in that one vignette, made more of an impact than the majority of his WWE career. Because they already set him up with a character. They already gave him that credibility that he can handle himself. Yeah. I love it. I think they did right by PJ Black here in the best possible way. But then again, it's Lucha Underground, so it's another day at the office.
I love this show.
I do too, my friend. I do too.
So then we got our match. It was PJ Black versus the Mack. Those names rhyme. And it was, again, the Mack comes out and points at Mill. I love that everyone is gunning for that title.
Again, just further building credence to the idea of Aztec Warfare, because that's a situation where the Mack would seem like a plausible contender, because it's a free-for-all. So yeah, dude, that just even that alone, I think, is giving me confidence. Like, we are building to that, and Aztec Warfare 2 is going to kick ass. So yeah, Mack does that, and then you have PJ Black come out, and what we get, dude, is a very fun matchup.
Yeah, this match was lots of flippy shit, let's put it that way. It was very high-paced. There was a lot of kind of one-upsmanship, like, I can do this to you. Oh, yeah, well, let me see. I can do this to you. What do you think of that? And it was awesome. And, you know, we got to see the Mack do a leg sweep and then a kip-up and then a moonsault. And we got to see PJ Black do a top rope springboard moonsault. I called it a lion salt in live reactions just because I wasn't thinking. Because that's like a Jericho trademark, you know?
Right.
But then the finish was crazy because Justin Gabriel looked like he was getting ready to do like a springboard something. I don't know what. But the Mack caught him in, I think it was meant to be a stunner or a cutter, but it looked almost like a big ending because it looked like Gabriel either overshot it or the Mack undershot it, and he ended up kind of coming down with the whole body rather than just the head. And it honestly, I think it looked even more devastating this way, but still just an awesome finish to the match. And that's the crazy thing too, is that that's not even the Mack's finisher. That's just a high impact move that caught PJ Black out of sorts, and it allowed the Mack to get the 3 count. And I love that not every match has to end with a finisher or a roll-up.
I love that, and here are 2 reasons why I think this finish works, right? I mean, first of all, I completely echo your sentiments that this match was just a lot of fun, even right down to the chop exchange that these 2 had.
Oh,
I thought
yeah,
it was great
dude.
work.
Every time they tried to do a chop exchange, as soon as the Mack did the overhead chop, it completely threw PJ off his game. He was like, the first time he was just like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to punch you in the face. And then the second time he just flinched so much that it allowed Mack to continue his offense.
Right. Here's why I love this finish, though, for 2 reasons. I mean, again, added to the reason that you already added, that not every match is going to end with a finisher or this, that, or the other. One, because the Mack pointed to Mill and this and that, you see that his threat should be taken seriously because he won the match. He backed up his words. So for the Mack character, that's great. Here's the other thing I like, though, too, which is kind of, you know, it's kind of a multiple thing. For one, PJ Black losing once again establishes that not everybody is going to win in their first outing at the Temple. But this also has the narrative possibility, because now follow me here, everybody, because if you saw the trailer, you saw PJ Black and Jack Evans together, and they seemed like they were bullying Drago, had him in a corner. Jack Evans also lost his Lucha Underground debut. I could see that potentially being what brings these 2 guys together. Maybe Jack Evans will be like, hey, I watched your match. I've been where you're at. Maybe we should team up. Maybe PJ Black will be resistant at first. Maybe he'll be, you know, willing right out of the gate. But I like that because now they have that common ground with each other, which I think could be, they may not take advantage of it at all, and I could be blowing smoke. But that, I do think that creates a narrative possibility to bring these 2 together now, which is another reason why I like this finish.
Yeah. Dude, no disagreement on my part.
There you go. I mean, that's really all I have to say, just the observations I made, because, you know, and we will, of course, be watching it again, like Ashton said, with more critical eyes, more analytical minds, and we'll see what else we can extrapolate. But yeah, that's what I immediately took away. These 2 are probably going to come together now because they're already walking down similar paths, and I love that. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. All right, dude. Here is what you've been wanting to talk about this entire time. A new luchadora, not luchador, luchadora, female, debuting. We had a vignette, and it looked very Catwoman inspired. She was kind of walking down a dark alley, looked like she was getting ready to rob something, or you know, at least eyeing something up, and then a bunch of dudes attacked, and she whipped that ass.
Yeah, dude. I gotta tell you, and I know her name's Cobra Moon, I'll just get that out of the way right now. I know Cobra Moon isn't anything revolutionary in the context of Lucha Underground because Sexy Star and Ivelisse are performers there, and they're also badass.
But you know what, though? I think that there is something very different about her, because the only other masked luchadora that there is in the temple is Sexy Star, and she's so kind of centered around girl power, whereas I think that this Cobra Moon character can be a little bit more like Ivelisse, where like she doesn't give a shit if you want to, praise her for being a female or not. She just wants to whip that ass. But she's also got the luchadora aspect in that she's got the mask and she can kind of uphold that tradition.
Exactly. To me, and I don't use this term as degradation, I just use it as kind of a scale. Sexy Star is kind of vanilla in the sense of like what she's about and this and that. Not saying that girl power isn't important, especially if you hear Sexy Star's backstory. Yeah. Very inspiring and very powerful. But she is, like, she doesn't really have that edge. She's more vanilla in that way, that do-gooder. Ivelisse takes a walk on the wild side, doesn't have the mask, but is a total badass. And to me, Cobra Moon, to your point, is the merger of those two worlds. And I love this idea. I was very curious because you see her looking through these things in glass casings. Now, were those weapons, Ashton? Because I thought I made out some weapons in those glass casings. Or were they like artifacts? Or were you able to make out what they were?
I wasn't able to make that out. But if you want to talk about weapons... Oh, no, you know what? That was the PJ Black vignette. Because I remember in one of these vignettes they brought out knives. But that was the PJ Black one, not this one. So never mind.
Yeah. And she was admiring stuff. I thought it was weaponry that she was looking at, or I guess some priceless, artifacts or whatever. And yeah, she whoops the ass and she handles it. And Cobra Moon, I like what that name strikes, man. She may become a favorite of mine depending on what the in-ring is like, because I really love this vignette. And again, to your point, totally Catwoman inspired in terms of apparently, allegedly the motivations. So I'm very interested to learn more about this character. And I gotta tell you, one of the best things about Lucha Underground is that they're building up their luchadoras. They've got a lot more coming in without explicitly having a women's division or a luchadora division, if you will. And I really like that. And
the best thing, too, is this Cobra Moon character is debuting next week.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I'm trying to think of what kind of male she could debut against. I'm trying to think of what jobbers we have left. So I don't really know who I'd ever debut against, but I would have it be, another intergender matchup. Have her whoop a man's ass and just really get over with the crowd, So I'm excited for her debut, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm trying to think of who would be really good to play off of her.
I was thinking El Mariachi Loco.
I was thinking Jack Evans even.
Jack Evans would be fun because we haven't seen him.
We could have Jack Evans lose, and then we can kind of have that what's the word? Union between Evans and PJ.
Yeah, certainly you could have him lose and then later in the night do a cinematic segment with those two. I completely agree, dude. So yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll co-sign on to Jack Evans. Jack Evans versus Cobra Moon next week. I can totally sink my teeth into that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so now let's kind of move on here. Up next, we had our main event, our 2-on-3 handicap match main event, Prince Puma and Pentagon Jr. versus the Disciples of Death. And can I just say, I love that they kind of maintained this idea that Puma can totally take on the Disciples by himself, but they recovered enough this time to kind of get back at him.
I think it's wonderful that you keep Puma looking strong like that, because it maintains the continuity of the tail end of the first season. You know what I mean? When you have him dispose of those guys the first time around, and then, he goes in and he does it again, I think that's really smart, dude. I totally love how they handle Prince Puma. I think they've got a great handle on the character.
Absolutely, yeah. So this match was really psychological, I think, because there was a lot going on, because obviously you have these two guys and they want to beat the Disciples, but at that same time, Puma is kind of this lawful good, whereas Pentagon is pure chaotic neutral, and he does not give a shit, to the point that he would be in the ring, but as soon as the Disciples would get the upper hand on him, rather than sticking around and trying to fight it out, he would just kind of roll out and let Puma take the beating.
Yeah, and that is totally Naito inspired, my friend. Like we said in live reactions, he's totally taking notes from his fellow Rudos, but I love that. And and you know it, and I can't wait for everybody to go back and listen to it. I was totally fearful for Puma the entire time, and really, I was just thinking, well, Puma, you got to have like 360-degree vision, because as far as I'm concerned, this is a 4-on-1 handicap match because Pentagon is freaking insane. And just the idea that Puma doesn't even care and he handles his business, but not in a hokey John Cena way, but in your words, actually in a completely badass way, is just totally awesome to me. That is how you handle a babyface to me.
Yeah, because, I mean, obviously Cena and Puma have that in common in that they're both that lawful good type of character, but the way Puma does it, like you said, there's nothing hokey about it. He's just, he's fighting for his honor, whereas it seems like John Cena is, just fighting because he gets paid to do it.
Exactly. With Puma, you can really feel like it's like, oh, okay, I'm the last of my tribe and this and that and those connections, and he's awesome. Puma is freaking awesome as a babyface, and he's one of the few babyfaces that, even though I really thought that harm was going to come to him, doesn't necessarily conflate to me wanting harm to come to him. I like Puma. I want to see him succeed. I felt bad for him when Conan died and he lost the world title. Like, this is a babyface that I sympathize with. And, the idea that he can get his head in the game, know that, I've lost my mentor, I've lost this, I've got Pentagon to worry about, Mil Muertes has my title, and he can still go out there and be the man, is more inspiring to me than any John Cena promo could be. Yeah. So, big ups to Puma, man, for being a boss and taking care of business. That is awesome.
That's a great point, man. Yeah, absolutely. So after the match, though, no, you know what? Not after the match, because this match had a weird finish, John. What exactly happened to close this match out?
Dude, I couldn't even really tell you, to be honest, because I did have issues towards the tail end of this match.
Yeah,
but
my video skipped at the worst time. I feel like Puma hit the 630, but then Pentagon shoved him out of the way and got the winning pinfall.
No, see, what happened was, you're half right, because it wasn't necessarily a shove. Puma was on the top rope. Puma didn't realize that while he was on the top rope, Pentagon stole the tag. After Puma hit the 630, Pentagon slides in and he gets the winning pin.
Okay.
So Pentagon stole the glory, and then, I'm guessing these guys aren't going to be exchanging Christmas cards with each other anytime soon.
Well, no, because then after the match, the Disciples, hightail it, and Pentagon hits Puma with a lung blower and goes to break his arm, but Puma, being the Greek god that he is, manages to fight out of it and get out of it and run away and survive to see tomorrow.
Exactly, because he realizes that 2 arms give him a better chance of reclaiming his title than 1.
Yeah.
And he's able to fight off.
Especially when the champion right now only has 1.
Exactly. It's like, nope. And he noped the hell out of there.
Yeah.
So, kudos to Puma Man for surviving. But you know what, though? Kudos to Pentagon for having a consistency in ethics and not giving a shit who he hurts and just breaking everybody's arm to get what he wants for his master, the Lucha Underground Championship.
Yep. Yeah, God, I love this. But that's the thing, dude. This is Lucha Underground, so the end of what we see in the temple is hardly ever the end of the show itself, because after Puma escapes the grasp of Pentagon, which I hope that ends up being a match very soon, we see El Dragon Azteca Jr. with the white hoodie and the mask, and we hear the voice of a very familiar luchador, Rey Mysterio, talking to him about the honor and power that comes with the mask that he now wears.
Very reminiscent, and that's why I did the tease at the beginning of the first issue of the comic. Yeah. So to me, I still think you should go out and read the comic, but what I like about this is, for those that may not be aware of the comic yet, or may not have any inclination to read it, which I don't know why, but that's your prerogative, you don't even really need to with this segment.
Some people want to stay casual and they just want to watch the show.
That's true. And you know what? That's exactly what I feel like this segment services, Ashton. Because if you want to keep it casual, I don't think you miss a beat with this segment. Yeah. It really is, the comic kind of, shot for shot, at least, the ending panel, with that conversation about the mask. I love it. And I love, too, that already like so many other characters. So again, this isn't anything new, but it's just something that I love about Lucha Underground. Rey is yet another character and an increasing tradition, you know, where Matanza, I think, also belongs and stuff like that, where he hasn't even gotten in the ring, but already he's set up as important because of why he's at the temple in the first place and his motivations. I love that. I love that the most important people in this show, sometimes for Matanza, we're still waiting if he's going to be an in-ring competitor. And then, you know, in the case of Mysterio, you know it's coming, but it's not straight away. I love that importance can be established outside of the ring is my point. And I think that's just amazing. And this segment was great.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say about it?
I just love that we're getting this continuity. And the crazy thing is WWE can't even get continuity right with their flagship show. Lucha Underground gets continuity right between a television show and a comic book.
Yeah, exactly. You want to talk about a juggling act. Lucha Underground's just looking at everybody else and be like, top this. And they can't. Spoiler alert, they can't.
Bitch,
so
you're still stuck on 3 balls while I'm rocking flaming pins.
Exactly, yeah, right? It's like I've upgraded both quantity and difficulty. Suck it, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, let us get into our next segment where we're talking about victors and losers, high spots and low shots. My low shot, straight away. Honestly, I'm going to be a bit more creative. Mil Muertes is my low shot this week.
Yeah, I think he was my low shot last week, too. Because
well, you know what?
He is just having it rough. Like, obviously, the arm breaking thing last week was a big deal, but now look at all of these contenders lining up.
Exactly. We're playing volleyball with the Lucha Underground champion, brother, because I think you're right. He was your low shot last week. And here's the thing. I think he was a more legitimate claim for the low shot last week because he got his freaking arm broken. But the reason I do it this week is exactly why you say. People are still breathing down his neck, and they keep on coming. My boy Johnny Mundo's thrown his hat in the ring. Cage threw his hat in the ring. Mack threw his hat in the ring. You know, they're breathing down his neck. And you have to imagine that for Katrina to get a hold on things, she's gonna have to give everybody what they want all at once. Again, I'm thinking Aztec Warfare, so it is not gonna be a fun time for Mil Muertes.
Absolutely. Dude, this is very, very along the lines of what you said. My low shot is Katrina.
Nice.
Because she has built an empire, and this episode felt an awful lot like she had to stand by and watch it begin to crumble. Because you have all of these people lining up to take out the king of the temple right now, Mil, and her disciples lost a 3-on-2 handicap match where they had the man advantage.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. If you're Katrina, being a proprietor may not be all it's cracked up to be when you see everything, you know, going on around you and the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
So I love that. And dude, if anybody didn't see this coming, then I don't know how long you've been watching this show, but my high spot is Johnny Mundo.
Yes.
Because who the fuck else did you think I was going to say? That's my justification. No, seriously though, I've waited for this for 2 weeks, which, granted, maybe I don't have much of a right to complain because for the Rey Mysterio fans, you still have to wait for him to actually get in ring. But Mundo came back and in one night, beat a very competitive and amazing Killshot, who I also wish a very productive season. I know he's got some great things in the works. Reminded Rick Knox exactly what he is, and that's a piece of trash. Called out Mil Muertes, laid down the gauntlet that the championship should come home to where it should have always been in the first place, around his chiseled waist in the vacancy in the Palace of Wisdom, and had a tactical retreat against Cage. Oh, and also got a great promo prior to that, reminding Mil that the only thing he's going to be picking out from under that robe besides his dead parents are his championship aspirations. So,
wow.
Suck on that, Muertes. Suck on that.
Apply cold water to burn.
Who is your high spot? Because I am just freaking tops right now.
My honorary high spot is PJ Black, and I had to give him this. I was thinking about giving him my high spot, but it wouldn't feel right because he did lose on his debut. But to me, in literally 1 hour episode show, Lucha Underground has made him more credible than he was in his entire career in the WWE.
Right.
And that is worth celebrating, I think.
Definitely, because it shows that Lucha Underground, given what it is, it breathes new life into everybody. Hell,
not only more credible, but I think more relevant too, because even just looking on the Squared Circle subreddit, literally the top comment, the highest upvoted comment in the Lucha Underground live discussion thread is PJ Black is officially being added to the pantheon of guys that make you go, how did the WWE drop the ball on them? Right
exactly.
There, I'm thinking, okay, that's it. PJ Black is here. He's arrived. People are seeing him for what I've been seeing in him for years now, but people are finally starting to wake up to it and see just how freaking talented this kid is.
You know, Ashton, it's funny because, you talked about the continuity that we have here on Lucha Underground TWitWoW with my whole realtor and the Arctic reference. Well, to kind of continue that continuity, I remember for the first episode last week, we said how Lucha Underground feels like a family, and it's very ECW-esque in that regard.
Yeah.
I think another vein where it's ECW-esque...
Except people actually get paid in this promotion.
People get paid, which is very important. But, another vein where I think it's ECW-esque, at least in my mind, it knows how to use people. It knows how to get the mileage out of people. They take PJ Black, who Justin Gabriel, let's be honest, he started out hot with the Nexus and everything, kept that momentum a little bit, depending on how you felt about it with the core. I personally liked it. I know that's a minority opinion. And then he really did just flame out. Didn't really do much. The only thing I really remember after that, he got one United States Championship match against Cesaro when he was going through, I believe, his first title reign at the time. Not really a worthwhile career.
I was so excited that night.
And yeah, you and everybody else.
We live reacted to that. I remember. I was freaking out about it.
And yet in one night, in one vignette, and a matchup that, again, was very competitive and really showed what he can do and was great, they breathe new life into this guy, and like you said, they bring him back into the forefront. And they've got people who may have watched him in WWE and watched him with a kind of indifference, like, oh yeah, he's exciting, but he's just like every other cruiserweight ever. And now they look at him and they're like, how did he get away? He's the one that got away. And any promotion that can do that is just pure, unadulterated genius.
Yep.
Hyperbole? Absolutely not.
No.
Because show me anybody else that could do that. Not a one. Not a one. So yeah. I think, oddly enough...
I think the only real... and I'm about to, TNA is a great example of how not to do that, but I think that the one example for them would be EC3.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, Ashton, if I remember correctly, your high spot last week was Lucha Underground. Yeah. Or no, I think that was the Raw review. The Raw review, because you said that.
Yeah, that's on Raw, my high spot was Lucha Underground, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because in a way, you're almost saying, I know your honorary high spot's PJ Black, and I don't even think we got to your actual high spot yet, but even your honorary high spot in a way is almost saying Lucha Underground again, because PJ Black... it's just another act that really embodies the genius and the creativity of Lucha Underground and what works about that brand. PJ Black is Lucha Underground at its best, because it's not always the most fearsome guy or this and that makes an impression in the temple. It's guys that you never thought had a shot to begin with making that splash, and I freaking love it. So that was your honorary high spot. I'm trying to maintain focus. Who was your actual high spot?
Prince Puma.
Oh my God.
Because here's a dude who was fighting off 3 men at once multiple times in this match and winning a lot of those exchanges. Here's a dude who went toe-to-toe with Pentagon to start the show backstage and got the upper hand on him. And most importantly, he's Harry Potter because he is the boy who lived. He is the first person ever to not have any outside assistance and get out of Pentagon's arm breaker by himself.
Exactly. What does that say about the resiliency of Prince Puma?
And I love it, dude. He's a strong guy.
Yeah, I love it, dude. And I also love, and kind of a coincidence here, my high spot was Johnny Mundo. Yours was Prince Puma.
Bringing it full circle, brother.
Bringing it full circle, brother, man. Yeah, I freaking love it. Guys, this is just the show. Forget just Wednesday nights, all week. I watch Raw, and I know I'm not speaking for myself here after how Ashton was in our latest Raw review. We both probably watched Raw thinking to ourselves, looking at the clock, not just wondering if it's 11 yet, but if it's Wednesday yet.
Exactly.
And I'm still pretty pissed off at myself that I haven't become a Time Lord yet, so I can manipulate time and space to just make Wednesday every day, and I could consume all the seasons of Lucha Underground at once. All that knowledge. One day. But Ashton, do you have any concluding remarks about tonight's episode?
No, this was just a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch it again. And that's the thing, too. Like, how opposite of our reaction to Raw is that? Because when we're done with Raw, it's like it couldn't end fast enough. And now with Lucha Underground, it ended too soon, and we want to watch it a second and maybe even third, fourth, fifth, 11th, 17th time.
Well, dude, not even, because you're absolutely right, so it's not even to disagree with you, but to give, like, an even better example so it's more parallel, even NXT, for as good as it is, doesn't have the replayability of Lucha Underground.
Yep.
And, you know, that's just the beautiful thing. So just to make it even more on the nose, you're absolutely right about Raw, without question. But even NXT, and there are acts there that I love, like Jordan Gable, Vaudevillains, like all these guys, but Lucha Underground, like, I love everybody. And it's just amazing. So with that said, guys, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Ashton, what question do you have for our subscribers this week?
Well, guys, we know Cobra Moon is debuting next week. I want you to tell me who you want her to face.
That's an excellent question.
Goddamn right it is.
Damn right. Yeah. Have confidence in that question. Get the conversation started in the comments. Be sure to take that same conversation, though, over to Pweetoff. That is Pro Wrestling is taking over Facebook. Though, let's be honest, it should just be Lucha Underground is taking over Facebook because everybody there freaking loves it. And you're going to find a lot of like-minded people there. If you're a fan of Lucha Underground, you'll be right at home. But if you want a more niche community, more intimate community, Ashton's created a TWitWoW subreddit for all of our TWitWoW fans. There you will see all of our content, and you'll be able to create threads of your own on all things related to pro wrestling for everybody within the community. And with that said, guys, we will see you again for our NXT review, where the hype bros are going to find out that all the hype in the world can't save them from true vaudevillains. Tune in and peace out.